If I had to summarize the message of this week's Torah portion, Lekha, it would be this: don't settle, because God wants you to be extraordinary. And I say that not only because of the opening phrase of our portion, which is Lekh Lecha me'artzecha. God tells Abraham, go forth from your land, umimoladetecha, from your birthplace, umibeit avicha, from your father's house, el haaretz asher areka, to the land that I will show you. Ve'esecha legoy gadol, I will make you a great nation. Ve'avarchecha, I will bless you. Ve'agadla shemecha, I will make your name great. Ve'heyeh bracha, and you shall be a blessing. In other words, God exhorts Abraham to leave home, to be, in the words of the portion, a blessing, to become a blessing. And indeed, I think that that is the message and the challenge of the whole Torah, not only for all Jews, but of humanity, to become a blessing, to become the greatest of what God created them to be. But this opening passage of our portion is only half of Abraham's origin story. In fact, we learn the beginnings of Abraham's origin at the end of last week's portion. At the end of Noach, we read, Vayikach Terach et Avram beno. Terach took Abraham his son, ve'et Lot ben Haran ben beno. And he also took Lot, the son of Haran, his grandson. Ve'et Sarai Kalato, and his daughter-in-law Sarah, Eshet Avram, Abraham's wife. V'yetzu itam me'or kastim, and he left with them from Or Kastim, lalechet arza Canaan, to go toward the land of Canaan. V'yavo ad Haran, v'yeshvu sham. But they made it only to Haran, and they settled there. Most people think of the opening verses of Parashat Lekh as Abraham's call to leave his birthplace in Or Kastim and travel to Canaan. But in fact, that's not true. Abraham had already begun leaving his birthplace and going to Canaan even before God calls him to do it. Terach, Abraham's father, had an initial plan of moving the whole family to Canaan, of fulfilling a dream, of fulfilling a vision, of moving to a new locale. But for reasons that we are not given, they only make it as far as Haran and settle there. And our portion this week picks up with God telling Abraham to go the distance, to actually complete the journey that his father had started. In last week's portion, we see Abraham and his family settling. In this week's portion, we hear God stepping into the action and saying, Abraham, I know that the journey's been long for you so far, but you have the capacity to be something extraordinary. And by settling now, by stopping now before the task is done, you'll never be able to fulfill that promise. So Abraham, go forward. Keep on moving. Don't stop now, because you're so close to fulfilling what you were created for. Each of us in our lives have these moments where we just feel like it's too hard and we should just stop while we're ahead. We shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. But Lekh Lecha offers us a new way forward in our home lives, in our marriages, in our raising our children, in our jobs, in our career goals, in our personal goals, not to settle for good enough. To Lekh Lecha, go forward. Go for yourself. Surpass that moment in which you just want to give up because you're tired and want to settle down. Instead, to push ourselves beyond that point so that we can fulfill the greatness for which God has created us. Ve'heyeh bracha, and become our greatest blessings. Shabbat Shalom.